Hi guys, for today's tour we're going to take a look around the periphery of Madison Square Park and show you all the different historical sites around Madison Square Park dating way back into the middle of the 1800s. Now this is going to be unlike the other video where I just talked and talked. This is actually going to be a bit more of a walk-in tour and I'll point out things on the way. Now the first thing we'll start off with is the white building right here. Way back, I sound like Carl Pilkington on the Ricky Gervais show. Way back in olden times, this used to be the Madison Square Hotel. And in this hotel, two very close friends, Henry Fonda and Jimmy Stewart, rented rooms next to each other, and they lived here for about 2 years. That was long ago, though. I mean, obviously, it's no longer the hotel. Now, next to this is the New York courthouse. They hired 16 sculptors to build the exterior of this courthouse. Now inside they had about 12 painters, I think it was. But because they had 16 sculptors, as you can see, there's a whole variety of different sculptures that are up there. In fact, let's take a little walk around and see if we can't get a close-up on some of these. Now, because there were 16 different sculptors, I can't exactly tell you who did what on here. They go all the way up to the ceiling with different artifacts there. Maybe I should cross over for the second part there. Now it's going to get a little darker here. There's just one other thing that I wanted to point out. Right here, we actually have an empty lot, which is now part of the Stanford, I believe it is. But right here used to be a separate building before it was torn down. And it was in this building that's no longer there that Humphrey Bogart used to live in. So as we were here, I figured I'd show you that one.
Up and down.
I just had to pause to wipe myself down there because it's boiling hot today. Now, this building right here originally was going to be one of the tallest buildings in the world. They built this huge footprint that covers the entire block. And they were going to build upon that. But during the Great Depression, the funds run dry, and they ended up leaving the building just as it is. However, right next to this one is the MetLife Tower. Now, for a 4-year period, let me get a little closer. Now, for a 4-year period, this building here was actually the tallest building in the world. That's before the Woolworth building was built downtown. That's the MetLife Tower. So now we're going to take a walk and head down towards 5th Avenue on 23rd Street.
Down a little far. That's like, that's good. That's good. Wow.
Now, we have the Flatiron building right in front of us, but pretty much everyone and their mother covers that. So I'm not going to cover the Flatiron building too much. First item I'm going to focus on is the building right across the street from me here. Specifically number 10, where it says Natural Deli. Back in 1972, when the band Kiss formed, on the top floor of this building was where they practiced. So any Kiss fans out there, there's a little bit of Kiss history for you. It's not much, but as we're walking around, I'll show you little bits as we go. Now we're getting up to the parts that I personally love.
What? She's like, yeah.
You know what, we'll film it here where there's a little shade for me. Now right across the street right now we're looking at number 6 East 23rd Street. And this holds a rather sad part of New York history right here. On the other side of this building there was an art dealer on 22nd Street, and during renovations the art dealer, or the renovators for the art dealer, removed the supporting wall underneath this building, and that way the art dealer was able to gain a significant amount more space in the basement of this building. That's where he stored his paints, his flammable liquids. Unfortunately, on October the 17th, 1966, this building caught on fire. More specifically, the building on East 22nd Street caught on fire. When the fire department arrived, they were unable to get in on East 22nd Street. The flames were just too high, and the smoke, and that they were beaten back. So what the fire department did was they came to the East 23rd Street side to go in through this building here. Now at the time in 1966, this was the Wonder Drug Company, and the fire department entered through this building right here, and unfortunately, because the supporting wall in the building had been removed, when the fire department were inside of here, the floor collapsed, and 10 firefighters during this, when they were fighting the fire in here, 10 firefighters fell with the floor to their death. Also, 2 other firefighters died during that blaze. I'm not 100% sure if it was the exact same moment that the floor collapsed. There was a flashover. So in total, 12 firefighters died that day. We're going to go over a little closer if we can. I know I'm jaywalking, but it may be a jay run in a minute. But on the side of the building here, there's a commemorative plaque for the firefighters. Now, 4 days after that fire, 10 fire trucks, each carrying the remains of a firefighter, came up 5th Avenue, and 10,000 firefighters lined 5th Avenue that day, coming from all over the United States. Now we are right in front of the Flatiron building, so as we're doing that, I just well show it to you. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here more for the history of New York City. So next up, we're going to look on the corner here. And this building here, the white building, was the 5th Avenue Hotel. Now, back in the day, this is where the elite of the elite used to stay. It was built in 1859, I think it was. Then in 1860, the Prince of Wales stayed here, later to become King Edward VII. Dom Pedro II, the last emperor of Brazil, stayed here. Presidents Grant, Garfield, and Arthur. And even in 1881, the US Lawn Tennis Association was formed in this building as well. Now it closed in 1908, but prior to that, in 1872, there was a rather notorious event happened. There was a fire up on the upper floors there, and a total of 22 female domestics who were living there at the time lost their lives in there. So that's the 5th Avenue Hotel. I'm going to look to cross over the street right now, because there's a couple of other things I want to show you here. But I'm going to have to stand here for a second. fact, I might not need to cross over on that side because we got two of them. So what I hopefully you can focus on is, if you can see the lamppost on the corner there, and that's going to be a part of the double showing of lampposts that I'm going to give to you, that have historical reference to New York City. Back in the late 1800s, Fifth Avenue was the main thoroughfare for New York City. So what the city did was they built gas lamps the length of Fifth Avenue. Now, during the years of urban development, obviously most of those lamps came down, but there are still a handful of lamps that still exist to this day. Now, these lamps have been here for approximately 120 years now. In fact, you can probably get a good view of that one right there now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the one right in front of the Flatiron building, because the one here obviously is much more photogenic for you guys who are watching all over the world here. Now, hopefully I can do this without getting in anybody's way, because the sun's coming right at us as well, unfortunately. Tell you what, I'll get on this side over here. So I think it's a pretty neat view with the Flatiron building right in front of it. In fact, I dare say that this particular lamppost isn't going to come down. But this one was erected in 1894, I think it was. So it's actually stood for 125 years. What I like about this one is only one lamp currently lights up. I don't know, that somewhat tickles me. So I'm just looking to see if there's any signs on the lamppost.
Play some free mini golf right now, everybody.
It's probably better because you haven't got the sun blazing at you right now.
Free mini golf right now.
So we have one more item to show you today.
Play 5 holes. What's the prize?
Well, actually 2, because I just noticed the clock over there as well. Now, the clock right here was built in 1909. Well, it might not have been built in 1909. It was erected in 1909. What I'm going to do is, hopefully there's a sign on the side there that gives us some indication, some history on the clock right there. I think it's somewhat funny that they erected this clock the same year they tore down the Fifth Avenue Hotel. Anyway, as that was there, I figured I'd show it to you. And now we're heading up to the last item on today's little journey there. So this area right here is called Worth Square, and this is so named for General Worth. In fact, pretty much anything that's named Worth in the United States is for this general. Fort Worth, Lake Worth. You may even live in a Worth that you wasn't sure of the history on. Now the remains of General Worth are actually buried inside of this tomb right here. In fact, if you look at the railing, the top of the railing right here, they've actually designed it with the helmet that he's wearing on the horse there. So what we're going to do, we'll take a little walk around, just in case there's any additional history that we might miss. Now this is one of only 2 tombs that are in Manhattan. The other one is the tomb of Grant, Ulysses Grant, who became President of the United States, and we'll do that one day as well. And also, I'm just looking up there. I forgot about this part. If you look around the outskirts of the obelisk, that lists all of the battles that General Worth served in. So they're actually on both sides there. So that's it for today's video, guys. Hope that you enjoyed that. Again, leave me your feedback. I'll be quite happy to hear it, more than happy to hear it, in fact. Now we'll move on. That's the end of the video. Subscribe if you're new, guys, if you're enjoying what we're doing here. Hopefully it will get better as time goes along. You know, it is new for me, so I just figured I'd come here before we close today, just to give you a little shot of the Empire State Building there.